All right, so this is probably a good transition point to something happier that Andrew and I love to talk about,
Okay.
and that's roster rules. Really quick here.
Oh,
So in 2007, you were picked up by TFC Toronto
oh yeah,
in
the
the waiver
TFC,
draft.
yeah, the
Yeah,
TFC story.
yeah, and then you were traded because of international slots for the Canadian side. I
Yeah,
think Chicago gave up a fourth rounder, and when Andrew and I were doing research on this ahead of time, we don't believe the fourth rounder was ever actually used by
probably
Toronto
not.
anymore.
Yeah,
It was for a supplemental draft in 2009, and they got rid of that draft in 2008. So the pick became null and void, which was hilarious that they picked you up for literally nothing.
Nothing.
And got the
Literally
goalkeeper of
nothing.
the year out of it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, it'd be crazy, right? So yeah, I go from Toronto picks me up in, I don't know, the 48-hour rule or whatever it was. And so I meet them down in Bradenton. Actually, yeah, in Bradenton, in Florida. And I meet them in preseason. And it's going well. I think we were there maybe a week or so. And then we go up to Charleston for the Charleston tournament.
Mhm.
And again, going well. The goalie coach at the time for TFC was this guy, Eddie, who I still talk to today, great goalkeeper coach. And, him and I hit it off. He's like, you're doing really well. Like, you're probably going to be the guy. Like, he pulled me aside one day. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And the day before the tournament starts, we had just come in from morning training. We go back to the hotel. We had lunch. Mo Johnson's the coach. So Mo's like, Bushy, I need to talk to you after, before you head back to your room. I'm like, okay. And he's like, I don't even know how to say this. He's like, if I had a game tomorrow, I said, well, you do. So if you have a game tomorrow, then you're my number one goalkeeper. He said, but I'm about to trade for Richard Maroney, and I'm only allowed 5, slots on the roster, and I need more help in the field than I do the goal. So I'm going to have to release you tomorrow. And I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at him going, that's a good one. Like, welcome to Canada. Yeah, all right, let's kid on the new guy, And he's like, no, I'm dead serious. He's like, I'm about to trade for Richard Maroney, and I need more help in the field than I do the goal. And he's like, I'm sorry, like, I know this is the last thing you expected, because I know, you're doing really well. He's like, but I need to do this for the better of the team. And I remember looking at him going, I'm not even, like, I understand what you're saying. Like, I'm not even mad at you. Like, I literally understand what you're saying. I was like, but I said, Mo, what the hell do I even do? It's literally like 2 weeks before the season starts. Like who's gonna pick me up? Where am I gonna go? Like, this is crazy. And he's like, I don't know, but he's like, I'll help you any way I can. And again, I can't make these stories up. Like, these stories are unbelievable. And so I go back to my room, and I'm like, I'm devastated. I'm like, how can you tell me I'm going to be your number one goalkeeper and then tell me you're going to waive me at the same time? So I had to wait a day to fly home. And meanwhile, so literally they give me a ticket, and I'm supposed to go back to Columbus on that. I think it was a Wednesday. And so the guys, the team's actually leaving to go to the Charleston Stadium. So I'm in the lobby waiting for the shuttle to the airport, and they're going to the stadium. And as I get on the shuttle, and we start driving to the airport, Daryl Shore, who's the goalkeeper coach at Chicago, calls me. And again, every goalkeeper and every goalkeeper coach kind of knew each other back then, and he's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in Charleston. I'm heading to the airport. He's like, don't get on the plane. And I remember just saying to him, like, Daryl, I'm not in the headspace for you to mess with me.
Yeah.
I said, what's going on? He goes, we are in, I think they were in Fort Lauderdale or somewhere down in Florida. He goes, we're heading to the fields for training. Dave wants to bring you in for, basically from Thursday through Sunday. He just wants to get eyes on you to make sure everything is good. Obviously coming off my knee and everything is good. and we're going to sign you. And I told him, I said, Daryl, I said, I'm not coming for a tryout. I said, I can tell you I'm good. He goes, no. He goes, we've already checked in with Toronto, and Mo and Eddie, they've all said you look fantastic, but Dave just wants to see you for a couple days. He's like, I said, you're going to sign me, right? And he's like, yes, we're going to sign you. It's like, okay. So literally, instead of going back to Columbus, so he goes, just go to the airport and wait. As soon as we get to the field, Ron Stern, who was the administrator at the time, he's like, Ron's working on a ticket as we're driving. He'll call you at the airport, or he'll call you when you're at the airport, and he'll tell you what airline to go to. Again, I can't make this stuff up. I am sitting in the airport in Charleston with a ticket home to Columbus and my phone in the other one, staring at it. Right. And I went up to whoever I was flying. I went up to the, to check in, and I told the lady, this is exactly what's going on right now. So I have to wait as long as I can. But if this phone doesn't ring, I'm getting on your flight. Right. It was one of those. I'm literally sitting there. And now I see her kind of looking at me, and I'm going, oh God, we're getting close. And luckily, all of a sudden my phone rings. He goes, okay, whatever. You're going to Delta. You're taking this flight. I'm like, perfect. So I waved to the lady. Said, I'm good. I'm going here now. Like that was it. And literally flew down to, I think it was Fort Lauderdale. Flew down Wednesday night, trained Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think we trained Sunday morning. And then I flew back to Columbus Sunday. And they had Monday off. So I flew into Chicago on Monday night, and we started training, Tuesday through whatever. And, but the crazy thing was because they wanted to cut my salary so much that, because it was a last second thing, I hadn't signed the contract yet because my agent was still working with them. And on Friday, we're sitting in Dave Sarakin's office. My agent's on the phone, and Dave's like, we have to get this in by whatever it was, 5 o'clock, East Coast, 4 o'clock. Like if it's not in, they won't put you on the roster for tomorrow night. And I need you on the roster for tomorrow night. And I'm sitting there going, I'm not signing that. Like that's terrible. We're not doing this. So just like standoff. Meanwhile, I got we got the agent on the speakerphone. Like it's comical. And the watch is just ticking. It's ticking. We ended up getting it done, and I was on the roster for that next week, that first game. But it was, it was crazy because I started the week in TFC, ended the week, with Chicago, and again, it was very interesting. Only in the old days of the MLS could all of that happen.
I'd say that we've heard some really great, like, crazy pro stories. That's got to be up there. Is one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
I mean, I was on 3 teams in that preseason: Columbus, TFC, and Chicago.
Just on a side note, Richard Mulrooney was so important to them. He played 2 games all season that year. Yeah, 2 games all season. They finished 25th, conceded 49, or they finished 7th, conceded 49 goals, 25 total points. Dead last, I believe, Wooden Spoon. Yep, Wooden Spoon. You think they regret their decision? Probably, right?
You would think so.
The thing of it was I knew Richie. So I just happened one summer to play in Nashville. I think it was after my freshman year in college. And his older brother played on the kind of amateur team we had that summer. And Richie always came up and trained with us. So I actually knew him, and he was one of the nicest guys I've ever met. So like when Mo told me, I was like, I can't even be mad at Richie because he's such a nice dude. Like he's such a nice guy, And I'm like, you're taking my roster spot, but I'm not even mad at you.
That is, yeah, that's got to be top 3. One of the greatest things I've ever heard.